everyone. Hi, nice to meet you. I'm very glad to join this conference and have the ability to talk about LineBot platform. We actually released a new API last month, end of last month, so it's a great opportunity to talk about it and give you some insights about it. And so, some facts about me. So I came from Japan. As you know by my name, I am half Japanese. And no, I don't give my ID or password for Facebook. Maybe half of it because I'm half Japanese, but no. So let's start. So the things I want to talk today are, well, history of LineBot platform, what do you need to know about it, and new messaging API that we released. And the last one is some about awards we have. Now, before I start, I'd like to ask the audience here, how many people actually know about Line? Can you? Oh, quite a lot. So let me change a little bit the question. So how many people actually use Line application? Not so many. OK, no problem, because I'm going to talk about it, and I'll give you more familiar about it. And last question, does anyone know about this bear right here? Not so many. Yeah, it's brown. You might find it by line characters. If you're interested in it, you can find it out. So, OK, let me start about. Now, as we talked about, is that we are SNS communication app based in Japan. Of course, the history we started here is that our app that when the Japanese earthquake, actually I was there in the earthquake, so I know the experience there. And it's quite frightening, to say the truth. And of course, the issues that we had there is that I couldn't contact my family there because all the communications were not based on only the government, so we couldn't contact people. And there was so much issues to contact someone you love or your family or friends. So our NHN, which was probably our company, created this application called Line. And this is one thing we created on 2011. Now, one more fact is that we have over 220 million active users monthly. And that's quite a lot. And where is it based? It's based on Asia. We're very strong in Asia. The first biggest countries we have is Japan, Taiwan, Thailand, Indonesia. We had a lot of users here. Of course, some people already know that we had a news about what happened to Thailand, I think yesterday. Maybe some people know about it. We had a lot of messages come in from Thailand at that time. And that's how many people are using our Line application. And also, we did IPO in 2016. So you're now able to buy our stocks. Please feel free to do it. So let's talk about the history. Actually, the bot platform I wanted to talk today is actually quite old from what we experienced. We started from 2012, some bots, internal bots, in-house bots, which are basically just weather or just talk about translation. Let's say you have, right now we have translation bots around, and basically it's like Japanese to Korean or English to Japanese, stuff like that. And we started like that. And then the companies also wanted to have this kind of function inside Line. And we built this new, in 2014, called Business Connect. This is the basis of our LineBot platform. This Business Connect, unfortunately, is more focused to enterprises, more bigger companies. So it was not easy for a normal developer to join. So we created, in 2016, the messaging API for bots. This one is more freely to anyone here. Developers can start developing their own bots in Line application freely. I'll talk to you about the plans we have later. And this is a good step we have and going on. Now, what do you need to know about LineBot platform? Let me give you the facts here. So this is what I'm going to talk about. I'll just go on. So the first thing I like to talk is, what's a bot in Line? Well, basically, many people here came to talk about chatbots. So you already know what's a chatbot. So I'm not going to go into details, but it's very simple. It's a way to interact with the user one by one. and we provide that service through our LineBot platform. And one of them is the webhook messages that we provide for notification, and the messaging API to deliver the message to the users. Now, let's talk a little bit about architecture. Unfortunately, I have very simplified this architecture because every time I talk too much about our servers, how it runs, it's not too much time. So I made it very simplified. So we have here, from the right side, you see we have your system, that you'll be the developer. And from the left side, we have our talk room, our chat room, which we use as very similar to most of it. And here, the messaging API will provide the information, the webhook and notification from the users to your system. And if your system wants to go back and reply to them, you can use our REST API to reply to them. And this is pretty simple. And there's two things that you might be confused, basically because of Line has a different way to use the accounts. We have two types of accounts. One is called official account, and the other one is called Line @ account. I'll give you details about it later, but just keep it in mind right now. So, yes, just talking about those two accounts just came up this right now, so I'm going to talk about it. So the official account we have here is basically for all these. We have three types of accounts. One is the user account. The other two is the one that I talk right now, official account, and the Line @ account. So the user account is basically to talk to users, users to users. And we have other two accounts, which are for companies, from big companies to smaller companies. So the official account is for enterprise, more likely for artists, large corporations. And it provides some features like mission stickers that you might not know yet, but I provide you some information about it. It's basically to provide stamps, your own stamps. We have a big market in stamps, in Line, and we have all these cute characters there. And this is a big market inside Line application. And you can use this with using an official account. And the other one is the Line @ account. This is more easier to use. It's based for SME, which is small, medium enterprises. And this account is more easier to use and more possible to use around. And this is, I think, what you're going to use further on. Now, I'd like to talk about basic features of what we have in our platform, since you might not know about it, so I'll talk about here. So yeah, the basic ones we have is, of course, text messaging, which is common that you'll do. We have rich type messages, there's something else, and stamps, which is very unique to us. We have a lot of stamps. Unfortunately for developers right now, we can only provide default stamps, which is Line characters. Maybe in the future, we'll provide more custom stamps that you can use to communicate with the users in a different way. And we have rich menus that I'll show you later, and notifications. Of course, we have group invitations. Many people are quite hard to understand that the group room invitation is not something we used to do. It's quite new to do because we don't have such kind of bot that will go into the group and provide the information you need to the users inside it. So this is a new feature we just started out. Now, let me give you the idea. So text messaging, yes, quite easy to do. This is the basics. We have also rich type messages. As you see here, we have two types of rich type messages. One is the image map, which can show the image link message. And the other one is more like HTML-based template. You can set the template if you use Facebook. Of course, it's very similar. So I'll give you some details about that. Now we have the other part, which is stamps. Yeah, we have a lot of stamps, and users like to use it a lot. And one of these I've just shown right here is just one of our character stamps. But users like to just stamp and give their impression by just stamps. And in the future, we might provide some ways for you to communicate with stamps for developers, but this is something to come maybe later. And we have the other thing, which is called rich menus, this is shown below the talk menu, which the users can press and then can access a URL or action or whatever you want to add there, and it'll provide a menu for your bot or AI you want to use. Now, I'd like to talk about some showcases of the bots we had. As I said, we had it quite old from 2012, and we started to provide it at 2014. So we have, as from last week I checked, we had like 1,000 bots actually already in our platform. And I can show you some showcases in Japan and some other countries which are quite interesting to show. Now, the first one I wanted to show you is this is a bot, which we call it Panda Ichiro. It's basically Japanese name. It's just a panda and just name it Ichiro. It's quite funny bot. What this does is it actually searches for part-time jobs. And it's quite interesting because it's not just searches for your part-time job. You can actually communicate with this bot. It's an AI bot. So you can send a message like hello or reply hi or something like emoji or something like that. And it's quite funny. As you see from the text, unfortunately, it's the Japanese bot, so you might be able to communicate it. But as I said, I say hello, and you say, how are you? Like, this is the AI bot. The AI bot from here is called, was created by a company called Recruit in Japan. They made their own engine to actually do this. It's quite great. We see a lot of users using this just to talk to it or provide information about their part-time jobs. And this is one good showcase of using AI, and one of them. Now, the other AI I want to talk about is Lina. Maybe some of you might know about it. Actually, Microsoft, we partnered with Microsoft, and we talked to them. And Microsoft created this AI. Its character is the junior high school student. Actually, if you talk to her, she's quite cold, to say the truth, and not very like you say, oh, are you okay? And she says, oh, I'm fine. It's very very simple. So it's quite cold. So yeah, it's quite cool to have this kind of bot. So it's conversational type of bot, just conversation and talk about it. And some users actually play with this. They actually connect it with Siri from your iPhone and try to battle with them and see what it comes out. But actually, it's ridiculous conversation. You might check it in Google, Rina versus Siri, and you'll find some of the funny stuff that it's saying. This is something that the users like to do. And the other one I want to talk about the AI is, this is Lawson. This is a convenience store. This is also using the same AI type of bot as from Microsoft, but just have different character, a more polite character to say. And it's called Akiko-chan, which is Japanese name. It provides some coupon information about convenience stores. You can also chat with it. And this is another AI that was created for our platform. Of course, we have other bots coming, AI bots coming, which is also from Watson, using Watson AI. And it's quite interesting. Of course, personally, I think I wish to have a bot that you can set the honesty of it. How many have you seen the Gravity movie? Not much? Oh, okay. Oh, quite. So I like when the star talks to the robot and sets the honesty level to like 60% or something. So it's quite. Personally, I wish to have such kind of bot that you can set the honesty level, so you can just play with it and see how it does. And this is something fun that I think it could have. You can actually have it, but this is just something I just personally hope to have in the future. Okay. Now, the other showcase I want to talk about is Domino Pizza. Why I selected this? Well, our business team in Japan loves this showcase, so I needed to put it here. So, so it's a good example. It has everything in it. So what the Domino Pizza does is it sends a message to users. Actually, the users, how they can start to connect with this is by Domino Pizza's page. They go in there, and they have a QR code that they can have this bot as a friend. So the users just check on it, the QR code, they add this as a friend, and then it will send some coupons about it. And you can also deliver or buy a pizza from messaging. Just say you want, for now it's still in development and do different UI, but you can actually order pizza from here. And it's something that's used in Japan, and it's quite a lot of users using it, actually. This is one of the showcases we have in Japan. So the last showcase in Japan I wanted to show you is Daito Kentaku. What this means is it's actually a corporation of buildings. What this bot provides, it's not actually a bot, it's a particular bot. It's a room search service. You search for rental in Japan. But the difference between this bot, is that it's actually human beings operating to give you information about the rental operation. So this is quite a lot of human resource doing here. But in Japan, we like to have a familiar faces to talk to and give information about the room information and stuff like that. So this is why I put it out, and it's not using AI, it's basically using human resources, which is another fun part of some showcases in Japan. Now, some interesting case I have here is from Taiwan. We actually have a ProtoStar project in Taiwan, giving them ability to start having their own bots in our platform, and we provide all the funding for them. And they came up with a lot of ideas, and it's great. And one of them is this one called WISO. It uses a IoT device connection, which it has a device, which you blow on it. What it uses is for your children or people. So you give it to the children, and if your children has some danger or something like that, the children will just whistle on it. And this will then send GPS location to the parents. So in case there's some problem to it, it will keep on sending the location of the kids. And this is something unique, actually trying to communicate with IoT devices and using our messaging service to provide information of safety of the parents, which is quite cool, and it's something else. We also have other types of bots around here, but talking about all of them is going to take a lot of time. So these are the major ones I wanted to talk about. Now, you were wondering about about the business models we have here. Here we have, I want to talk about two types of business model you can have. So about the partners here, what's the partners? Basically, it's the partners of developers that actually use Line to provide the product to end users. So we call them the partners. And they can provide all types of products through our Line, since we have 220 million active users. And some of them, we have like Salesforce, we have also as a partner. They provide contact center information or CRM. We have other type of partners, right, also, which provide a lot of products through Line. And this is something, the business model they have is to sell their product through Line and provide the information they want. And the other one is for customers. Well, it's basically individual developers also could be this customer. So as I said, we have 220 million or active users. So it's quite easy to promote your service through Line. If you go to Asia and you start to talk with some customers, and they will say, why can't we use it with Line? Like, they want to connect with Line. They always want to connect with Line. And this is something we always get information that they want to start to have their business through Line. And this is the way that the companies have used Line. And of course, the promotion part is basically that they can remove the ads, the promotion ads, the money they cost for ads, and change it to Line. So it's less, they need to pay just lesser than the normal ads, but they get more users to follow their product or check their product or use their product. And of course, you have better communications, which all bots do. And this is something we talk. Now, going to the next slides. Now I want to talk about the new messaging API we released on end of September. And this is the new stuff we just started out, and I just want to give you details about what's new about it. Now, the first thing I want to talk is we didn't, as I said, we made the bots more easier to access for normal developers, not enterprise, not only enterprise. Now, any individual can start developing through our Line platform. And this is something you can actually do right now. And the other thing is now you can join group chats. We have groups around the maximum group of users you can have in Line is actually 500. And there's actually some kind of such groups here, which is 500, and so that's a lot of groups and inside of just one group. And you can actually join those type of groups and start engaging with those users inside it. The other thing new that I was talking about was the rich type messages that we just added. We have 3 types of rich type messages, which is based on HTML template. The template we have is a carousel type, the confirmation type, and the button type. Well, if you use Facebook, maybe it's familiar to you. But yeah, this is something we created new. And we have more better APIs. To be a little bit honest, we didn't have very good APIs. It was since we created the APIs for the bots for internal use, those APIs just went to public. So we had this strange type of like magic numbers that you need to set to just call a message. Let's say you need to send a message to someone, you need to put this magic number inside the API, which was ridiculous actually. And we removed that completely and made it better. And we also added some SDKs that you can use, that you can actually develop, which is now in github.com. If you check for github.com for Line, you'll see all these SDKs that we have here. This is for Java, Golang, Ruby, and PHP. And we also have better documentations. So if you want to check it out, what kind of APIs we have, you can go to devdocs.line.me for more information about our API. Now, the next part I want to talk is the push message and reply message, but this is rather not fun at all. I really want to just go through this as fast as possible, but it's not relevant for any users here. I'll show you why later. So we have 2 types of sending messages type of APIs. One is the push API, and the other one is the reply API. The difference is, well, as it says right here, the push is only to send a message. The reply API is to get information in a message and reply to it. But normally you just send messages, and I'll show you why it's not relevant to people over here. So we had several issues development on this new September APIs, and first things we had is to increase the usage of bot messaging and compliant, because we have billions of messages every day that we handle, but these are still fine. The issue is that those messages are then transferred to another type of service that are handling all the bots. And so we needed to increase this information. And we also added some circuit breakers to allow some events to not to get too much load into our servers. This is something we needed to implement in the first development. And also, I just talked about the APIs, which are not good, and we tried to improve them. And this is something we put a lot of work on to do it. And this last one, this is the part that what is relevant to the push API and reply API, is that we needed to create the differences of business to compensate the business models of each country. So right now, Japan, Thailand, Taiwan, Indonesia have their own plans based on this bot. And we needed to compensate that using these 2 types of APIs. But only these 4 countries are relevant to this API. Other countries, right now, I'll show you, are completely free. You can use whatever you want. It's completely free, so you don't need to care much about this information right here. So this is something just if you're going to actually work and start from Taiwan or Japan, Indonesia, or Thailand. Now, this is the type of plans we have. So everything's free, of course. For any country out of those 4 countries, everything's free, so you can start coding whatever you want and start testing our platform. And if you want to use I've seen a lot of European companies starting to go to Thailand to work out some bots there. And this is something that will be a game changer later on for more developers to start up. Now, let's talk about a little bit about some bots we have, which are new. Not going to go details. This is the Line Notify. It's basically a bot that actually sends notifications to you, which is really just a bot. But the difference is that you can actually use like GitHub or IFTTT or Mackerel to send these messages. Let's say you have a repository in GitHub, and you have the pull request or something, and you can see it on Line Messenger. You can add that bot to your group, and the group can see any messages or pull requests through this bot. It's free to use, and it's quite easy to use. You just need the OS token to use and actually register your own information there. It's quite easy. So if you're interested, just search for Line Notify. Now, I just proceed a little bit faster. So what's coming next is, I think the issues we have with bots is to actually market the bots and find the bots. And we had a lot of issues here, but for now in Line, we have this QR code that you can add the bots as a friend. So if you have your own website, you can just add that QR code, and you can have your bot as a friend. And this is quite how we do it right now, but we don't have any market to show the bots. And this is something we might think in the future. That's one thing. And this is how it will go. And other things that we'll try to do is to connect other services that we have in Line, which is also Line Pay. If you checked with Thailand, we also have like Line TV, or in Japan, we have Line Live, which is actually broadcasting some screens of celebrities or talking people. It's like Twitch or Netflix, something like that. And we'll think about like having those services to be connected with the bots, and you can have more services to provide through Line. Now, the last part I wanted to talk about is the Line bot words. So what's the benefit? What I'm talking about here is that you will actually win. If you win, you will get about 1 million Japan yen, which is around in euro 88,000 euros. That's quite a lot if you're a winner. And it will start from September, the entry. So if you have a good idea and you think your bot will be a good winner, please apply to this, and you might win 88,000 euros. And this is something you might want to try it. And that's it for me. Thank you very much.